Greetings, programs, and welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews. So, I've been having a lot of fun with combiners lately, finally having some after, many years of thinking they were the coolest things and not really having any to mess with. So, today I'm going to be taking a look at what is technically a combiner. However, these four guys don't actually transform as such. These are the Combaticon drones, and these all automorph. So I don't actually have to transform these, saving me a lot of headache. But we will be looking at a couple modes for the center guy here, who is the Power Core Combiner Bombshock. Now, some Power Core Combiners were sold on their own, some came with their drones. This guy did come with the drones, so in a way you can think of this guy as an extension of Bruticus or something, since again, they do call these things Combaticon drones. So, there's that either way, however you want to think about it. The guy himself is this weird, probably supposed to be massive by the size of the windows there. Basically, Fortress on wheels. And other than the big blue obvious combiner ports on the back, it's pretty good looking. I'm not gonna lie. Now, really quick, funny thing about this guy, he is a classic case of Hasbro just done messing up. So, as you can see right now, all these wheels more or less line up. He rolls just fine. All 6 wheels touch the ground. When you get this guy new, if you still find him new or something, or even if you get him used, you want to check if his legs are actually lining up. If these wheels are lining up with the back wheel. Because out of the factory, every single copy of this figure had the legs put on the wrong hips. So, basically, if you don't have to turn his hips backwards to transform him, that's why your wheels don't line up, and that's why these side panels don't peg in right. They were all misassembled at the factory, which is really funny. But transform this guy is really simple. First, we're just going to get into his standalone robot mode. You come down here, unpeg these little side panels. There's a slot going over this little tab right there. We'll just unpeg those. Come up here. The fists peg into each other. Just unpeg them. Bring them down. Rotate them around. Straighten his head out. Come down here. Unpeg the legs from each other. Fold these blue pieces down. They'll kind of act as heels. Also, I'm going to go ahead and straighten them out just because. Fold up this piece. Fold this up to get clearance and rotate the hips around. And then just fold the guns up along his back. Lastly, just come down here. Fold down the cockpit. And this little silver piece form his feet. And there you have Bombshock in his standalone robot mode. And he's a pretty neat little figure. I do really like the head sculpt on him. It's a pretty good sculpt. Little Decepticon insignia there. Quite a bit of paint on him, actually, which is pretty impressive. I do believe this guy technically counts as a movie figure, even though clearly he did not show up in the movies. I think he might have been in either a novel or a comic or something. There was a lot of that in the movie universe, funny enough. But, yeah, other than, the big blue parts, like I said, he does end up looking pretty clean and pretty good. So these big blue combiner ports, they are basically the overall problem with Power Core Combiners. And I say problem with all the air quotes in the world, because they're just a thing that's there. They don't really get in the way, and in a lot of guys you can, like, flip them out, you know, make them look like wrist cannons or something, you know, you can work them in if you have a little bit of imagination. But, you know, that's a thing to know. Any Power Core Combiner figure you get is just going to have some brightly colored big piece hanging off of their limbs. I think most of them had blue, but I think one or two might have had, like, orange or something. Not sure about that. Posability for this guy. Head can rotate. And, it can be a little tricky to get in there to get a hold of it. Can't quite go all the way around, but he can easily look side to side. Ball joint in the shoulder, so you get full rotation. Though the backpack does get in the way, the back turret. Can move out basically all the way. Ball joint at the elbow, so you get full rotation. You get bend, 90 degrees. Nothing at the wrist. He does have a hip joint, but you have to move his front skirt out of the way to be able to move that. And then if you keep that up, he can kick forward that far. He can kick back that far. He does actually have a knee hiding in there. Has a pretty good range of motion on it. You know, just hindered by the stumpy thigh more than anything, actually. And you can bend, you know, you can move these pieces around to be heels in different angles. This foot you can just bend up a little bit. Though this one actually will go down a little if you get the heel piece out of the way. So you get a little more range on this one. But, you know, as a standalone figure, he's not bad. So, getting him into his combined robot mode is super simple, super quick, which is one of the things I really like about Power Core Combiners. You're going to bring his arms out like that. Come back here. Get these guns out of the way. Fold up the combined robot head. Turn it around. And then there's a hinge right there. You're actually going to rotate the whole turret on that hinge, which will then also rotate the shoulders, cover up the normal head. Then I realize I got the arms wrong, so you're going to want to twist them around so that the wheel... He has a lot of stuff that gets in the way. But get the wheel to the underside, then get the fist towards the inside. Then that little slot right there will slip right over that piece on the shoulder. With a nice loud click. Go ahead and fold up his feet. Fold these blue pieces down all the way. And then you're just going to bring the hips out, and they will actually come up and tab in right there on that little green piece. Then bend them down like that. So same thing over here. Bring it out. Bend it down. And there you have your super robot torso ready to go. Now if you want, you can, you know, fold these guns down on his shoulders or whatever. Instructions show them just staying up like that. You know, you've got quite a bit of posability with those. I'm not sure what's, you know, the proper way to display them, but basically do whatever. Then you're going to come over here, start grabbing your drones, and on every one of these drones, you'll see just a little square hole somewhere. You're just going to slide that over the little blue, you know, peg that's hanging out. If I can get the camera to stay focused while I do this. And on each one you do that, they will automorph into a limb. Now, this is the per, you know, pictures, directions way of doing it. Obviously, you can use, you know, either leg drone for either leg, either arm guy for either arm. That's up to you. And you can even mix and match them, because they did sell these guys. They didn't come with a drone. They would actually have a minicon. Because I forgot to mention, but yeah, these are actually minicon ports. So some of these guys had minicons. They didn't unlock anything, so I think that's what they call the dead port. But you can get them with Minicons. But you just go ahead, get everything plugged on. I'm trying to do this so you can see what's happening, because some of these are kind of cool. The way they just explode out, like this one. Let's see, and right there. And there you have the complete super robot. And despite me being an idiot and popping that guy off, I think this looks really, really cool, actually. You know, I appreciate a combiner that doesn't take, you know, a ton of time and effort to get, you know, set up. Because, really, you just transform the middle guy, and you're done. So, he does actually have posability in this mode. The head can rotate, and you can sometimes get to bend up and down depending on your angle and stuff. Mostly he looks down. The arms can rotate, though that's all they've got. And as you can see, his hands are both a little floppy, but full rotation at the shoulders. This one's getting hung up on something, but full rotation. You can bend them out. He does have hip articulation. He can kick forward all the way, back all the way. You move his leg out. He does have a knee now, so full 90 degrees there, though it can be a little tight. And there is rotation as well. So, yeah, well, these guys, you know, I know a lot of people don't look back at the Power Core combiners very fondly. Me, personally, I think these guys are actually pretty great. Because you get all the coolness of a combiner, but, you know, it's not overly large. This is about the size of most Voyager class figures. In fact, let me see if I've got someone handy. So yeah, here he is next to the Siege Megatron mold, and you can see he's barely any taller than Megatron, and a lot more lanky. Megatron actually does weigh more than this guy does. But again, you know, they're different. You get a combiner without having to go through a million steps, and you get a pretty cool robot mode. You know, especially these guys that came with their drones and everything. You got a fairly cohesive looking unit. And again, I think they're pretty cool. So, definite recommendation if you can find this guy, or most of the others. I technically only have 2 Power Core combiners I can speak on. But the ones I've had, they seem pretty cool. There's a Dinobot one that looks insanely awesome. Just get these guys if you find them cheap. They'll be a bit of fun. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.